Erev Tov Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Got some very serious stories coming out of Russia as of right now. From what we understand right now, according to RT News here, that reported this evening, Putin has canceled his visit to France amid Syria tensions. He's supposed to be meeting with Francois Hollande, the president of France, but Prime Minister of France, rather, and this has suddenly changed because of the tensions that are going on. France has actually canceled several of the things that Putin was supposed to be doing during that time, and of course Francois Hollande was saying that he would be asking some very stern questions of the president of Russia, President Putin, there when he visits France. But unfortunately, it looks like that Putin has decided this is not a trip that needs to be done at this time. But our breaking story that we really wanted to bring to your attention here is from two different publications from Znak News. And in both publications, such as the ones you're seeing here, the word home, there on the top of your screen there, let me kind of bolden that for those of you that might be able to read a little bit of Russian there. But the article's title here is saying that is calling for all of the children and family of Russian families there to return home. Now, just to give you a little Google translate of the article, I had my wife look at it. It says Russian officials and deputies advised to return their children and parents home. That's what the title of the article says there. As you go into the article, they are stating that at this point here, not even to finish their education for this part of the year, but to return home to the Russian Federation now. Now, from what we can gather in the articles, this one as well as this one here, it is not stating on here, both of these are Znak, or no, I'm sorry, this is Snob right here, snob.ru is reporting, basically just quoting Znak's own article right there, that they're saying it's official, but yet it's not been able to be confirmed by any official government source here. Now, again, this is Snob quoting Znak. So Znak is really the main leader of this article. They learned about the Kremlin's recommendation to return the children of Russian officials back to the motherland there. Presidential administration informally recommended that Russian officials up to the highest level of return in Russia of children of parents who have left to study or live abroad, says Znak, with a reference to the 5 officials whose families are just abroad. And one of those families happened to be Foreign Minister Lavrov, which his daughter is studying in the United States. There was another minister as well that it spoke of in the article where their child is actually studying over in Switzerland. So in both the United States and Europe, they have children that they're saying that it has been recommended from the Kremlin, and I'm assuming this is a leaked source here that Znak is getting, but they're saying for them to return home. Now that's a very serious situation indeed, because if Russia, even if it's not considered official, but if the recommendation is being made, that lets us know that Russia is really concerned about the heightened tensions over Syria, and that this could actually escalate into a much bigger confrontation than what we're seeing right now. And on top of that, to see that President Putin has dropped his meeting with French Prime Minister Francois Hollande there, then there may be more to it than what meets the eye. And we know that we have seen a lot of tensions at the United Nations Security Council, the veto there. France put the resolution forward. Russia has vetoed that. And, of course, we already know the United States, John Kerry, is not very happy about any of these things that are going on either. So it's very serious, something we want to be watching closely. As of now, I don't know of any other information other than the Russian sources that I'm sharing with you here. Znak right here, and of course the quoting from Znak is Snob, snob.ru, and of course, like I said, again, Znak.com. We will have both of these articles posted inside of the links here to where you can look at this for yourself there. Continuing on, let me just take you real quick, just as a little thing, just to remember here. We're at Yom Kippur, and speaking of Syria, and this being the thing that could ignite a possible nuclear conflict between the United States and Russia, one thing that happened in Israel today that my wife brought to my attention is just a beautiful story on United with Israel, and that is on Yom Kippur there was a lady that felt such a passion for the suffering and dying of the children in Syria that she united Jews all over the country within just a short period of time, just a few days before Yom Kippur, to pray for their Syrian neighbors. You know what? I'll tell you what. The Israeli government could learn from what this lady did right here. I'll read a little bit of the story here for you because it was a remarkable story, and the Israeli government, we know, have been involved in the Syrian conflict. And some might say, no, not really. They only have attacked the Syrian army when shells fell over into Israel. Well, the shells were not fired by the Syrian army where the Israeli government attacked those positions. When also Russia hit the intel center outside of Aleppo, it was Israeli intel, Mossad agents, as well as CIA, British, Qatar, Saudi, and Turkish secret people that were working inside of there, according to Pravda.ru, which is a state-run television news agency inside of Russia, and also from the Sputnik Arabic language news source that was also speaking about what happened there. It still has never gone public before, but as I say here, it's a shame that the government of Israel, which is my own people, the Jewish people, would be involved in the Syrian conflict when the President Bashar al-Assad has not attacked Israel whatsoever. I think that our government should get out of this war and should leave it immediately, as well as the United States, and let Russia and the Syrian people deal with this conflict. Anyway, it says the world cannot accept the slaughter of innocents, and I hope our prayers open the gates of heaven tonight. Hundreds of Israelis gathered across the country on Monday to pray for the welfare of their Syrian neighbors in the night before the holiest day of the Jewish year, Yom Kippur. Prayer rallies were held in 9 different locations, including Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Haifa, Pardes, Hana, Beersheba, Tekoa, Ariel, Ma'al Gilboa, and the Golan Heights, where the shofar ram's horn was sounded in solidarity. According to the UN estimates, and the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, over 400,000 Syrians have been killed in the past 5 years of the civil war, including some 50,000 children. The event organizer was Annette Kramer, 39, of the Galilee, told the TPS that a recent news report on Syria spurred her to organize the prayer gatherings. She said, I recently saw a news report that showed 2 Syrian children crying. There was something about their crying that reminded me of the sound of the shofar that we just heard in the synagogue on Rosh Hashanah. After seeing how the war has caused such terrible suffering from the Syrian people, I felt that during these holy days, I had to do something for our neighbors. Now that is a godly way to do. Thank God for such an incredible woman as Annette Kramer that has done this for the Syrian people. God bless her tremendously. Also, one other thing I thought was kind of interesting I wanted to share with you. A journal poses as an intern to spy on RT's Deutschland, the German RT news source there. He came in as a spy. They were trying to find out how involved the Kremlin was in running the RT's operations in Germany. They've been accused quite a number of times as being a propaganda machine for the Russian government, only to find out that the man that was doing the spying for another news source there ended up backing and believing the RT crew more than he does any of the German sources whatsoever. It's a very moving article. We'll post a link in there for you there. He come away believing that RT was probably the most unbiased media around and clearly stated there was no interconnection between Moscow and what they were doing in Germany. Whereas he also, the article goes to state how that in several other news sources there in Germany, they have been clearly, even during the Ukraine war, the government was clearly affecting what was allowed to be said publicly and what was not allowed to be said. Very interesting indeed. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You've been watching Israeli News Live. Shalom and good evening and Chag Sameach to all of our friends around the world on Yom Kippur. And by the way, check out our link. We'll include this as well in the subject line below, Ben-Nun Institute, where we will be broadcasting tomorrow a special broadcast on Yom Kippur. I think it'll be very insightful and eye-opening for you as well. It'll be a real blessing, no doubt. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live. Shalom.